This episode brought to you by
Duh.
Bull.
Oh my God.
Audibletrial.com/horror virgin for 30 days free in a book to get you started. For your book recommendation, Jen.
Woo! I am recommending The Road by Cormac McCarthy. If you like this
What's it
book,
about, Jen?
It's about a post-apocalyptic.
That is not, those are not the right words.
She's never said it aloud, Todd. She's only read it.
I've only read that word.
It's about a post-apocalyptic hellscape where a man and his son travel through the hellscape and try not to get eaten.
Awesome.
I read the book and I really liked it.
Well, guys, check out The Road by Jack Kerouac or some shit.
No, by Cormac McCarthy.
Yeah, whatever. 30 days free in a book to get you started. Go to audibletrial.com/horror virgin. Guys, I wish you could see the way Jenna's looking at me right now. This episode.
I don't joke about books, Todd.
Books are not a joke.
Unless it's a joke book.
Oh, well, now we're just in a mental conundrum that we cannot escape from.
know.
This episode also brought to you by Nick B.
Nick B Industries.
Nick B of Nick B Industries wants you guys to check out God Country.
Oh, I've got a fun fact.
Oh, already?
Yeah.
Is there a real fun fact?
Yeah, on Facebook, he said something about he likes to box. I also like to box.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we had a little talk about it on Facebook. Mainly
That's how you met. We have a very close mutual friend, and that's how you met him boxing, right?
Yeah.
Chris.
And
Yeah.
that's how I got on the
Actually,
podcast.
Chris has been on the podcast. Yeah. This episode also brought to you by John.
John. Hey, John.
Hello, John.
Welcome to. Oh, my God.
Hello, John.
Okay, you should turn his mic down.
Yeah, I'm gonna
just
go ahead
until
and-
we're done with these ads.
That's how he said it.
Hey, John, welcome to the party. Thank you so much for supporting us.
John, is he the guy I said is in Blood Diamonds?
Yes. He's
Yeah.
not in Blood Diamonds. He's not packaged inside of Blood Diamonds.
But I heard that John is not his real name.
What?
Yeah, fun fact.
Let's try not to get all of our patrons arrested.
Yeah.
Just John.
Maybe let's have a legal
Oh, yeah.
fun fact.
I am noticing that all of John's fun facts, Wanky Blinky, are illegal, maybe illicit in nature.
I think John is a delightful guy.
It's a fake name, Jen. John P. Who are you?
Who are you really,
Yeah,
John
send
P?
actual fun facts or I'm coming.
Jeez.
I'm coming for you.
Hey, John, thank you for supporting us.
Mikey and I are going to track you down.
Oh, my God.
Find out who you really are,
Blood Diamonds are
John.
wrong, John.
Don't worry, John P. I'll protect you.
Let's be clear. If anyone tracks down John, it's going to be them that needs protection. Mikey just didn't realize that we're
Like,
going to get beat up by John.
Some of us will protect you, John.
And I'll say this, John, even if you make your money illegally, we appreciate that you give us some of it every month. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you,
Horror Virgin,
John.
a tax shelter for you.
No, it's not. I don't want to get arrested.
So, John, we appreciate that even though you obtain your money illegally, that you give some of that money to us on Patreon.
Or, hey, thank you for supporting us.
Yes,
John
that's
P.
what we should say. Thank you so much for supporting us, both John
We're
and
so angry
Nick
at all of
B.
our patrons.
Yeah, thanks for not adding me your fun facts.
So, guys, thank you so much for supporting us on Patreon. And
It's the end of the month, and this is when we thank our You Can Get It sponsors. Yay! Thank you so much for supporting us. That is Eddie, Shoeman Fu, and Veronica. Thank
did you make up that last name? Hang
No,
on.
it says Eddie Shoeman Fu on his Patreon thing.
Oh, it does.
And I got a fun fact about Eddie.
All right.
It
All
right, let's
says
hear it.
He has been voted the country's favorite lasagna, which is a little unclear because I could read this as he was voted as making the country's favorite lasagna. But
No, I think it is
says he's been
is lasagna.
voted the country's favorite lasagna. So that's
Well, I have
interesting.
always been a huge fan of lasagna, so I'm glad to know a huge lasagna is a fan of me.
I like lasagna. I now like gluten-free lasagna.
Ooh.
no, sir.
Dude, gluten-free pasta can be really good.
It
Ask
really
Eddie.
can.
He would know.
Yeah.
What about Veronica? Do we have any fun facts about
We don't
Veronica?
have any fun facts about Veronica, but
I
we
know
know
that
that
she-
she's awesome because she
Yes.
has a horror nerd
That's what I was
shirt.
going to say. Yeah, she's great.
Woo.
And she's also a very active member of the community.
Yes, she is,
She
yeah.
talked to me on the Facebook group. Fun fact, she's very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is very nice.
Eddie's
and
very nice,
Eddie
too.
talks a lot on Twitter. I see his handle a lot.
Yeah, and John is very nice, and Nick B is very nice, and everybody is very nice and lovely people.
Yeah, and if you guys want your very own Patreon shout-outs, go to patreon.com/horrorvirgin and sign up for one of the levels there. And or if you can't support us financially, that's fine. Just
Yeah,
please
we
continue to
understand.
tell your friends and family about the
Support
podcast.
us emotionally by telling people about the podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm real fragile, so please send me some good reviews.
There's a lot of truth in that, guys. I'm going to bring in that theme music.
Oh, it's on your side tonight, Jen.
Oh, Welcome to the Horror Virgin, everybody. I'm Jen.
I'm Mikey.
And I'm your horror virgin, Todd, which means I don't like horror movies, and you guys make me watch them so you can make fun of me.
Yeah.
Is a strong word.
And we can sort of make fun of the movies together because some of the movies are worth making fun of.
Yeah, and some of them are great. And this time, you're not saying that we make you watch movies because this was
That's
our
true.
listener request.
That's
so
true.
You listeners made Todd watch this
Yes.
movie.
The Hills Have Eyes, the remake. So let's do some first thoughts.
I do not like this movie. I didn't like how it was directed. I didn't think it held tension very well. I think it was kind of cheap in places. I don't think it was that scary. I didn't like it. I didn't like the movie.
Mike, why don't you tell me how you really feel, Mikey?
Because the real movie, and we'll talk about this. 'cause
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
talk about
get there.
You
The
mean
dogs
the-
had a better story in the movie than the people.
One of them had a better story. One of them
Both
dies
of them are
quickly.
involved in the story.
I'll agree.
Yeah.
I think this falls into that trap of it's being like right on the time when people stopped shooting in film and started shooting in digital, but digital didn't look that great yet. Because it looks like a Black Mirror episode. It's like 13 years old, so like it's fine. I didn't think it was great. I don't know.
I didn't have a problem with how it was shot or anything like that. I just don't particularly like it that much. I can see why some people do, and I could see why some people find it scary, and I definitely found it disturbing.
Yeah, I don't think it was super jump scary, and the jump scares are what really get me. There were a few moments that got me,
Yeah, it's
which
just
we'll
really-
talk about when we get through it. But it was more like body horror stuff.
Yeah, really
And
violent and gross.
honestly, one of the main dudes looked like the guy from Goonies. So anytime he was supposed to be scary, I just thought to myself, "Baby Ruth," and it made me laugh.
Yeah.
Junk.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys,
Yeah.
let's get into this fucking movie.
So we start with our opening cards, which I missed, but Mikey remembers word for word. So go for it, Mikey.
Between 1945 and 1969, the United States government conducted 330 atmospheric nuclear tests.
It's 3:31.
Shut the fuck up.
Listeners, it doesn't say that on the screen. Just
The government has always denied that there was any sort of genetic mutations caused by the radiation.
From caused?
From
Yeah.
From bombs, atomic bombs.
That's how radiated everything got.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then the movie starts.
Yeah. Word for word.
That nailed it.
There is no way to ever find out either.
Nailed it, guys. Yeah, there's no way to look that up. Although I
go,
will say
Mikey.
this, I do think you got very close and you were not reading it, and that's very impressive.
That's
All right.
true. So we see these opening cards, and then we see a river.
With a CGI fish, and the fish goes down the river, and the fish gets caught in a net that's by like these people in like hazmat gear.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
net is
radiation
not
suit.
CGI.
No, the fish is CGI. Did you think the net was
I
CGI?
don't know. I didn't know the fish was CGI.
Oh, I knew.
Oh, it was pretty clear.
They catch the fish in this non-CGI net and hold it up so everyone can see. And then a bloody guy jumps on him and says, "Help me, help me, help me." And then he gets pickaxed.
Yeah, and then it becomes the beginning of My Bloody Valentine.
Oh, good reference.
Yeah, I've seen movies, guys. I get it.
I've seen 54 of them.
But I think more than that at this point. But yeah, so this guy with a pickaxe kills everyone in radiation gear.
yeah, and like slams them against rocks too.
Yeah, you're right, Mikey. You don't really get to see the face of who's attacking.
Right.
You
So it
sort
could
of
be
see
anybody.
like his body as he's swinging them around, but you don't really get a clear
Yeah,
look
then
at
you
him.
see a guy in a radiation suit trying to climb a rock for some reason. And then he
Yeah,
gets
why
killed.
would
Just
you
trying to get away, fight or flight.
climber flight? That's the way I've always heard it. Have you guys heard it differently? I don't
Fight
know.
or climb.
It's fight or climb because you can't fly.
Oh well, then flight.
This
Did I
is why
say
you keep
flight
getting
or
killed
climb?
in the desert.
Flight or climb.
Flight or climb, guys. You either fly or you climb. Either way, you're getting high.
It sounds like an NBC show.
Up next on Fight or Climb, Janice hates Dennis. Dennis has no arms. See which one he decides. All right.
I mean, he's clearly going to choose flight. Because if he doesn't have arms, how's
Well,
he
yeah,
gonna
because the
climb?
flight is just like a flight of steps, and he just walks up it.
That's the twist the whole time.
Oh my god.
He goes on the show thinking he's going to fly.
I think the twist was he has no arms. So then you see that a guy driving off with the all the radiation dudes tied up behind the bumper of a car.
Yeah, it was just married. I've killed a bunch of people.
It was like the worst wedding ever.
It should have been a scene in Natural Born Killers because they get married in the movie.
So yeah, but that's more or less like the cold open of the movie is
Yes,
that.
yeah.
Because all the people you see at the beginning, the first victim I think he's billed as in the credits, and then all the dudes in hazmat suits, the guy who killed them, none of those people come back. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy who killed him you may see, but you don't really see who he is in that scene. So like it doesn't matter. It's just sort of
They never mention it
setting
again.
the tone. There are people on Mars or what looks like Mars checking for radiation, and like the Geiger counter is going insane.
Yeah.
This whole area is where they test tested the nuclear bomb, right?
Yeah.
So like you guys have all seen that footage of the town that they built, that they destroyed. They really didn't tell miners to move. Like it was an abandoned place in the desert that nobody lived because nobody could live there. So it's like just a made up thing. Like this, there's no way this is like based on any sort of historical fact, aside from the fact that they actually did blow up a made up town.
Right. Yeah. There's no evidence. I mean, it's one of those things where you can't prove a negative. So there could have been people that went into a mine instead of leaving that we just wouldn't know about.
But they would be dead.
Yeah, they would have died.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like this, there's no evidence to back any of this up.
Right. What's the next scene after
This is
cold
the opening
open?
scenes where we have the opening titles, and we're getting
1950s footage.
we're getting like a 50s song and like footage of this cut
It's
with
like Fallout.
Yeah.
It's like a Fallout video game intro, except we're seeing very disturbing like body horror images.
of deformities.
Yeah.
A lot of them with babies.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's not fun to witness.
No, it's not. It's sad. It's not as gruesome as I was expecting.
The
Some
whole
of them were
movie's
just babies, I think.
Well,
welcome to the conversation. We literally just said that. Didn't he say some of them were just babies?
No, regular unmutated babies.
Oh, fuck.
Welcome to this
to me conversation. So what happens after the credits, though?
Okay, so now we get to the gas station.
Yeah.
We're already at the gas station?
This movie flies by. You hear a country guy in the store and he goes, "What's that noise?"
Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. Because this dude is just like in the gas station and it's like it's a geographical oddity, right? 200 miles from everywhere. And so he gets up and like he hears a noise. And so he immediately jumps to, I got to take my shotgun and go find this noise.
And not just like, let's go look outside.
No, he does that.
He does that.
And then he grabs a shotgun and goes outside.
And he's looking for Ruby, and we don't know who Ruby is yet. But he's also saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm out. It's over. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, it's almost like he works with the mutants and he's the one directing people to go to their trap in the desert, right?
Yes.
I mean, clearly that's what it is because that's what happens in the movie.
But he doesn't want it. So he goes to the mine shaft chasing the noise. He said, "I got buckshot for y'all if you coming for me."
Yeah.
And then he walks back to the gas station and he finds his Louis Vuitton bag.
Yeah. And he starts going through.
Just on the porch.
And his takeout from lunch, which is an ear with lots of piercings.
I don't think he was going to eat it.
I have a question. Where did the mutants get takeout boxes?
That is a very good question. You know what melts in a nuclear blast? Styrofoam.
Everything?
Definitely. Well, yeah, but definitely styrofoam. Yeah. So we're at the gas station, and this old dude is like walking around with a shotgun, yelling, finds the Louis Vuitton bag, sees that it's got cash in it, it's got jewelry in it, it's got the ear with the piercings in it, and then
A picture of this guy, which I don't know for sure, but I imagine it's the guy from the very beginning and the girl, and I imagine that's her ear in that box.
that's what I got too. But
I got it.
yeah,
Put
that's
your ear in
that's
the
fine.
box.
Put your ear in a box, girl. So this is where we meet the family. So they pull up at the gas station, they honk the horn, and I think we meet the dad first.
Yeah, because he's like, "Hey, kids, get out of the car. We're driving through the desert."
Everybody's hot. Everybody's complaining, and they're out
because
of gas.
I think it just showed the thermometer is like 110 or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
and they're in
super
the
hot.
desert.
It's a dry heat, so it's okay.
No, it's not okay. Have you ever been to Arizona?
Yeah.
Oh, you have? So you can sympathize with the people who are in this movie because you've
I've
been
to
there?
Arizona, so I really thought about but I haven't like been through a nuclear test.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if I can
I
like, really
cannot,
relate to
yeah.
this film.
That's why I don't relate to this film.
It's like a very subtle joke that not many people are going to get. But if you listen to the Alien episode, that's fucking funny.
You're
All right.
dying laughing right now, your listeners.
Jen's so
You're
mad.
welcome.
So so we meet the dad and the mom of the group, or you might say dad or grandpa and grandma because they are.
The matriarch and the patriarch of
That's
the group.
very fair,
It's
right?
very Midwestern.
Yes, very Midwestern. He
They're
is
very a lot of things.
Yeah, so he's very Republican. She's very religious. I didn't get the vibe that he was super religious.
No, because he
but,
was like,
yeah.
"I'll trust my gun over your prayers any day."
Yeah. Which, honestly, take the tangible over the intangible any day of the week.
I
But
just keep imagining
I
him
do
jumping
both.
around, shooting guns up in the air the entire movie. Like,
Yeah,
that's what
he's-
he's doing in his heart.
he's
you
one
know?
step away from being Yosemite Sam out
He
there.
really
That's
is.
very true.
Do you know who the actor is?
I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. So
He's
he's like,
in a very iconic role in another horror movie.
oh, yeah? Who is he?
Listeners, you know? Listeners? It puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again. Whoa, guys. Welcome back to the podcast.
Is that Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah, it's Buffalo Bill
Okay.
from Sounds.
I haven't seen it, but I
Wow, he's Buffalo Bill.
He is, yeah. Ted Levine. Ted
I
Levine.
knew I'd fuck him.
I would too.
Nailed
Way to
it.
go, Todd.
I mean, I honestly have never seen that movie. It's just so pervasive in pop culture. Like,
Yeah.
I know that scene.
It's on the list. We'll watch it. 'cause
I'm sure.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I actually hear it's a great movie, but sorry.
Do you know who the mom is?
I've seen her in a bunch of stuff too.
Yeah, we have covered a movie she was in. She was the
Was
mom.
it this one?
No, she was in Event Horizon.
Oh yeah, she's the one who gets obsessed with the
With
young
the son, yeah.
She falls off the rail.
She's Mama Bear.
She is Mama Bear. Oh my
We got
God.
Buffalo Bill and Mama Bear.
Well, I've never been in a space storm, so I can't really relate to it.
yeah, I
Above
know.
Jupiter. So guys, so we also meet the rest of the family. So we have the
I do know their
biological
names.
kids of Mama Bear and Buffalo Bill are the oldest daughter,
Yes, Lynn,
Lynn.
Okay.
And the middle daughter,
Brenda,
and then the youngest son,
Bobby,
Bobby, right?
Yep.
Now the oldest daughter, Lynn, is married to
Doug.
Doug, and Lynn have a daughter.
Yes, Catherine.
Boom, there we go. So we've met the whole family, right?
We have, yeah.
And they're like
oh wait, we got the dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Beauty,
and the Bees.
These
And
are German Shepherds.
They are German
and
Shepherds.
they are
Out of control.
but also amazing.
No,
Yeah, they
they're
are.
okay.
Really,
so,
only one of them is out
yeah.
of
So
control.
Beauty is the worst dog ever. Beast is a beast.
Yeah, he is.
Beast is the best. Anyway,
Yeah.
so there's like a bunch of shit going on. Like
The dogs run away.
Yeah,
They're
well,
like- they're
Beauty runs
arguing.
away, and the
just
guy,
doesn't like
the
Beast.
purveyor of the gas station, is pumping gas, and they're like talking to the main dude, and he's like, "Yeah, you're way off the beaten path, right? Because the dad wanted to take the scenic route through the
Yeah, the mom's
desert."
like, he wanted to see the desert. He's like, there ain't nothing in the desert.
I have driven from Nashville to San Diego, been cheated on, and then I drove from San Diego back to Nashville. You know what you can see a lot of from the interstate?
regret.
and I said cheaters.
Mikey, I'll level with you. Mistakes were made. No, you can see a lot of the desert just from the interstate. Like, you don't need to go off the beaten path to find the desert.
But this dad just has to be obstinate.
Yeah, this dad's the worst. But so the guy who runs the gas station is like hell-bent on not giving them more people, right? Maybe
Right.
not hell-bent, but he's made that decision, which we've noticed at the beginning.
Until Beauty escapes.
Well, and then Beauty runs into the gas station, and the guy like lives in the gas station because, you know,
Because what else is there?
he's a
Is he not
sad,
leaving
lonely
mine?
dude, right? So
Plus,
yeah.
all the bottle trees are out there. It's just,
Right.
the
He's
scenery
got
is so
80
you
beautiful.
can't
bottles
leave the bottle trees.
I know. Who
got
will
eight-
water them?
He's got 8 jars of pickles and 8 jars of mustard.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's all
God.
you need.
And pancake mix.
And pancake mix.
So yeah, Beauty gets out of the Airstream and then runs into this guy's really house. And Lynn goes back there to get Beauty, and she looks in and sees the bag of shit that the mutants had just bribed him
the
with.
cell phones and the jewelry and stuff. And so she looks at it suspicious while her dog tears the shit out of his place.
Yeah.
And as a dog owner of an unruly dog, why would you do this? You go straight for the dog because you don't want to be rude. Just
Yeah.
saying.
And the dog's about to bust out the window.
yeah.
I even said that during the scene. I was like, why is she like snooping through his shit? Like, if that was my dog in there, my goal would be just to get my dog out of
And that
there.
dog is literally tearing the blinds off. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But she doesn't see the ear.
No, she
No, she doesn't. She just sees
But
the
I do-
bag of obviously
and-
stolen shit, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think she thinks he's involved in murder and cannibalism, but I think she's like, oh, this is not a good dude. We got to get out of here. So
And
she
then
gets
he
back in the
walks
car.
back. No, he catches her. I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. So he
was like,
walks
"Oh,
back in and like
pardon me."
catches her, and then she like goes, oh, I'm so sorry, I was getting Beauty. I'm gonna go back to the car. She goes back to the car, gets in the car.
And I think this is when he decides to
Yeah, 'cause-
because he's
yeah.
like, well, maybe
It is.
they
It absolutely
could leave
is.
He
that.
sees
Yeah.
that she snooped into the bag.
Yeah, he pulls a berry and he says, starting right now.
Has anyone out there seen Barry, guys? It's really good if you
It
haven't
is
seen
really
it. That,
good. You should see
that
it.
was a good joke if you've seen Barry.
It
And if you
was.
haven't seen Barry,
Fuck
it's
you.
good. Whoa.
The family's talking and you're like getting the dynamic. Like the brother and sister wander off and like
They're
pick on
deciding
each
where
other.
who's going and where because they've got like an SUV and an Airstream.
Yeah.
And the son and the son-in-law, Doug and Bobby, are in the Airstream, and the girls and the baby and the parents are in the car. And so
Yes.
the asshole dad is honking, and
Anyway, so they all get back in whatever vehicle they're supposed to be in, and they start to drive away or are about to drive away. And then gas station man comes out and says, you should take a shortcut through the dirt road.
So
anyway,
he becomes kind of like an anti-harbinger because he's not trying to warn them; he's trying to send them off into the.
oh yeah,
danger zone. Yeah.
I think at that point, because she saw him with the stolen shit, decides these guys need to die.
So is it the dad's fault or is it Beauty's fault?
Well, the Beauty's a dog, so I'm going to say it's still the dad's fault because
yeah,
he
it
should
definitely
never
is
have
still the
left
dad's
Interstate 40.
The dogs are the main point of the movie, okay? This is a revenge film for Beast. The dogs were in the trailer. They got to an argument. That's why Beauty runs off and gets to the gas station and barks out at the trailer barking at Beast because he pissed her off. So when she dies, he goes on a whole revenge thing because he blames himself for making her run off.
That would have been a much, much better movie.
I told you I was going to bring it around.
Yeah.
Oh, and so while this is all happening, they're wandering around and we see a creepy crawly kid steal the hoodie out of the back of the car. We see a gross outhouse.
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
I missed that.
That's where she gets the red hoodie.
Yeah, the red hoodie was the son's.
Oh, Little Red Riding Hood?
Mm-hmm. It was Little Red Riding Bobby first, and then Little Red Ruby Riding Hood steals the sweater.
These are character names?
This sounds sexual.
Yeah, this sounds like a position that you've done and resulted in one of your children.
You can't get pregnant that way. It's really inappropriate.
We haven't left the gas station and we're an hour into
No,
this
we left the
recording.
gas. We're gonna leave the gas station. So you cut to them turning off the highway onto a dirt road. What you said? It's 2 hours on a dirt road. Then you miss you save some time or something. I was
Yeah.
Which there's never been a shortcut back to the interstate that is 2 hours on a dirt road.
Right, because even if you don't get sabotage crashed, you're probably going to like bust a tire driving on rocks and dirt.
Yeah. You know where you don't want to be?
It's on an Airstream while someone drives over rocks.
Yeah.
Because it's the worst. These motherfuckers would be bouncing around back there like they're in a bounce house at your daughter's 5th birthday.
Well, this sounds fun though.
Bounce houses are fun.
Got very specific. There's one guy out there like, what?
How did he know?
Yeah, Tony.
You have to drive slower on dirt roads.
This guy does not believe in that.
Yeah.
But it cuts to Doug and Bobby in the Airstream, and they're just like chilling out,
Smoking cigarettes.
walking around a moving Airstream that should be bouncing around.
Yeah.
But they're just walking around smoking a cigarette
Fixing
or whatever.
air conditioning.
God. So anyway, then we see a lizard, and we see Spikes kill that lizard as it pops up, and then they drive over the spikes. They lose all control. Did you guys notice this? When he goes over the spikes, there's like, I would say probably about 10 seconds of him like, oh no, we're tires or whatever.
You could just
and then when you see the rock, that's when he steps on the brakes. Why do you not step on the brakes immediately?
Don't you supposed to fishtail and let the car correct itself?
Also, you should be going like 15 miles an hour on a dirt road. He could have just stopped.
He's easily
Or
going
you
45
shouldn't
to 50
be on
miles
that
an hour.
dirt road. But yeah, that Spikey's do, and then suddenly he just loses all control of his steering wheel and goes just careening into rocks.
Yeah.
He says, "Watch the baby," to give him a little bit of credit.
This next scene I really like because he gets out and he's like, the frame's bent. And then the son-in-law's like, well, can you fix it? He's like,
With what?
fuck you, moron, Democrat. You can't fix a frame.
Yeah,
That's
he does
pretty much
throw
what he
Democrat
says.
in his face like it's an insult.
It's not an insult.
I was like, he doesn't know about cars. Leave him alone.
I don't know shit about cars either. Like if my car breaks down and I get out of my car and open the hood, I'm looking for like a big on-off switch that is in the off position.
He's just like he wasn't my father-in-law because I've been like, oh, I'm sorry you can't fix it. I wish you would have like not taken this shortcut. You're such a smart guy taking shortcuts. Man, you think you know everything? Hate being on this trip. Fuck you.
I think it's cute that you think at one point in your life you'll have a father-in-law.
Well, if I keep
geez.
waiting,
Team chair.
if I keep waiting to get married, the chances are that her father will be dead.
Yes. Mikey is single, ladies. So they're stuck on the side of the dirt road, right? Which sounds like a country music dream, but like they're not.
The Old Town Road?
Okay, so but before the tires have been destroyed, we found out that Dad is a retired cop. He's starting a security company, and that the son-in-law sells phones, and they're setting up this whole dichotomy.
Yeah,
of
he works like a Radio Shack or some shit.
yeah.
Owns it
Oh, does he own
because
it?
the wife helps him run the store.
He does sort of seem like he has money and like the dad, the granddad, Billy Bob Thornton or whatever the fuck his name is.
Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill, that's the guy. He
But I
like
could see
'cause
Billy Bob Thornton,
He
too.
offers him money at one point, and Buffalo Bob is like, no.
I'll pay for my own gas.
Yeah, something like that.
I was into-
It was over the gas. That's
but
right.
it's like this whole like salt of the earth dad and
He's like a man's
manly
man. Yeah.
And that this other guy is like this cityfied, very like effeminate kind of. Yeah. Okay. So the car's totaled, and now they decide that Bob and Doug are gonna walk.
in different directions,
Yeah.
though. I did not understand this. I do understand walking out to find help.
Yeah, I do
and the
too.
closest place you found civilization was the gas station. At this point, there's no reason to think there's any ill intent from that gas station.
Right.
We both go walk back to that gas station, right?
Right,
There's
yeah.
no reason to go off separately in a desert.
Which brings me to a point. There's all this ominous music over like beautiful scenes of scenic desert.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem scary at all.
It's not scary at all. You don't really see anything.
Unless you know that the hills have eyes,
Yeah.
which you do from the title.
It's not just a clever title, Mikey.
It's not.
Interspliced with them like getting ready to go on their separate treks into the desert.
And I think
there are like some cheap jump scares where like Lynn's like looking out the window of the Airstream and then Bobby pops up and like scares her and goes, "Give me a Twinkie," or whatever he says. There's stuff like that. And honestly, that one, the "Give me the Twinkie" one did scare me a little bit, but I hate those, man. What's the point of that?
To get you.
This family takes forever to decide anything. So they're at the gas station for like an hour and a half. Now they're stuck and like you have to get ready to walk. And so it's taking them like an hour and a half to get ready to walk. The middle sister has like taken her shirt off and is sunbathing and has set up shop next to the
Oh,
thing.
yeah. They've been wrecked for 30 minutes and she's already sunbathing with a beach chair, like hanging out by the pool.
Right.
Yeah.
And like the dad and the son are talking about their guns and stuff.
And they're just pointing their guns all over the place
Yes.
and shooting and giving son-in-law shit for not having guns.
They point the gun at the son-in-law and he's like, "Don't point that at me, please," which is proper gun safety.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
ever do that.
Yeah, listen, don't shame him for not believing that you should own a gun and then wave a gun in his face.
Exactly.
You're not going to sell your point to him by doing that.
He goes, "I don't want to shoot that. I'll probably shoot my toe off." He's like, "He would shoot his toe off."
Yeah, which, I mean, if you have not been trained to use a gun, you might do that.
You know who shoots their toes off?
Who?
People who own guns who don't train themselves on how to use
Hey,
it.
funny story.
I shot my toe off.
One of my cousins accidentally shot my other cousin in the neck.
What? So this is like a family murder we're just learning about.
Yeah.
Accidentally.
Oh, so
Did he
family.
die?
He did not. He had to go into a long recovery. He's okay now.
Well,
Like a
that's
full
good.
recovery?
Yeah, well,
Is this a real story?
This is a real story.
Oh my God, I thought you were making like a joke.
No.
Oh my God.
So he like, I don't know. They must have been partying or something. And he like shoots him in the neck. He goes to the
For
hospital.
the lulz? How could this happen?
I don't, accidentally. I wasn't there.
Were they drinking?
It's not my scene.
Is there-
Obviously, I would
So that's
assume
how
they
you
were
do it.
drinking.
Oh my God.
So no one gets arrested, which is crazy. And this is Mississippi, so who knows? But so like my cousins and like the cousin who got shot was in the hospital for weeks.
Yeah.
And he like came out of all these surgeries and stuff and like rehab and like walked like lurch for a long time and couldn't move his neck very well. He's way better now.
And nothing ever happened to the guy who shot him?
No, that cousin is actually a piece of shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
I thought for a second you were going to say that cousin's actually a state senator.
I know.
Or
Because
some shit like that.
No, that's from my wider, trashier branch of the family.
You don't need sunscreen when you're in all the shade that Mikey's throwing over his family right now.
it's true.
Anyway, so they do eventually walk in their separate directions.
And I think they're walking in separate directions because the dad just doesn't want to walk with the girly man son.
He tells him, it's like a throwaway line, like, "You go there and see if we're close to the end of the shortcut," which is not true because he said it was going to be 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh, and the dad says before he leaves, he's like, "I'm gonna get to the gas station. I'll call the tow truck and be back here before nightfall." And the next time you see the dad, he's rolling in firmly at night.
He's like, "It's only 8 miles."
Yeah. What is he, Eminem? Nailed it. He was just looking for some mom spaghetti.
Yeah. So the dad and the son have both left, and then they all sit down and they get a table out of the Airstream, and they're just kind of talking and having dinner.
They're really like setting up camp, which is what you probably
They're
should
gonna
do.
be there for a while.
Realistically, even if the dad thinks the tow truck will be there by night, that's still hours and hours and hours of time. So like they're just setting up camp, getting ready. I think they build a fire. But we see, I think we follow the son storyline first because we see the craters during the day. And we don't see the dad again until night, I think.
Because what happens is Brenda lets the dog out of the Airstream and Beauty runs off.
Oh,
again.
yeah. And Bobby goes running after Beauty.
Love is hard.
You know, it's complicated sometimes.
It's a dog.
They're about to have their silver anniversary too, you know?
Yeah.
Dogs don't live
They've
that
been
long.
through a lot.
It's like only 3 years.
Well, I guess, yeah, it would be like 3 years because it's, yeah.
So they open the door. Beauty runs off again.
Yeah.
Little Bobby takes his gun because now everybody's armed.
And we see a scary cave, and we see Mutant Ruby walking behind him, but he doesn't see that. He just hears it. So he's looking around.
And that's sort of a jump scary moment, too. That sort of got me a little bit.
Yeah. And then we hear the dog whimpering.
It sounds like the dog got stabbed, is what it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then he keeps walking and he finds Beauty and she's dead. And it's
Not
sad.
only just dead, but like dead and gutted.
Yeah, she's dead.
Yeah, it's really sad.
So Bobby gets freaked out and sprints down.
And falls off a cliff, bumps his head, and is knocked out until like nightfall.
Yeah, he does not get back to the trailer until...
Yeah, till past dark.
Yeah.
And so then we see Ruby come over and she's kind of like petting his head, and then blood is dripping on him when we look up, and it's a mutant. This is the first time we really see a mutant that's not Ruby, and he's like chewing on a raw dog's leg.
And listen, guys, you got to be real careful when you're raw dog.
I saw it coming.
Listeners, I apologize.
You don't want anything to drip.
Oh, wow.
We're back to Mikey taking
Mikey.
it 7 steps too
Mikey,
far.
I love it. Yes.
So you cut to the son-in-law walking down the dirt road.
Doug is walking and singing California Dreaming.
Is he?
Yeah. Okay. And so that's the
Why?
thing. Because I think that's like a kind of a nod to the original movie.
Okay.
And if you look at like the older daughter's dress kind of looks a little old fashioned. I think they're kind of just trying to put little hints of that in there. Because this is the second time we've heard
That's right, because
California
this is a
Dreaming.
remake. I'm sorry. This is a remake.
It is a remake. And I have not seen the original, so there might be more like...
I like the original better, but I don't remember it too much.
I like the original better, but that's only because I do not remember it.
Right.
Well, the most memorable thing about this movie is that it's forgettable.
It exists.
Yeah.
Okay, so Doug is walking, same in California Dreaming. He gets to a crater, and we don't really see it for a minute until he's walking down in the middle of it, and it's just full of cars.
Yeah, and school buses and like vans
And
and
a
shit
boat.
like that. And so naturally, instead of like getting freaked out and running away, he goes and loots the cars.
Yeah.
Of
Not
a
for
bat,
valuables.
It's like a bat. It's like a stuffed animal, and it's like
That's not even age-appropriate gifts for your baby.
baseball bat for protection, Mikey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Giving the baby.
All those
Here you
cars are
go.
way down a canyon. I would have saw that this road ended in a big canyon, and I would have been like, time to turn back.
I
Yeah.
think he's just happy to not have to be around the father-in-law anymore.
Anyway, so he
Investigating.
loots the cars of all the non-valuables that he finds, and then heads back towards camp.
And there's blood smears on the side of this car, but I don't think he sees
I don't
them.
think so either. But how do you miss blood smears?
You just don't look on that side.
Because, and the reason I don't think he saw him is because when he gets back to camp, he thinks everything's cool. He's saying,
Yeah.
don't worry, the dad will be back shortly. And
Yeah,
he's
he's
right.
cool.
And it's whatever. But
So we do see it's dark. It's full dark now.
yes,
Dad's at the gas station.
finally.
Yeah. And we see shadows outside. And so he goes in to the same office that Beauty had run into. And he finds...
Well, yeah, because he's trying to find the guy who ran the gas station and there's
Right.
nobody there.
And he's not just traipsing on in. He's walking around, he's knocking, he's trying to yelling for this
He's
guy.
sort of being respectful-ish, right? He's like, hey, who's there? Anybody there? I need help. I need help. And then he checks the payphone doesn't work.
Yep. And so then he goes back into the,
Yeah.
kind of the backstage, the area.
The backstage, you mean his house? He goes back into the gas station owner's house?
Like the office of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Goes
think he
back
lives
to
there.
his Louis Vuitton staging area.
But he does see the Louis Vuitton bag.
Yeah.
I think they call that a forever bag.
Yes,
and he
you are.
sees everything that Lynn saw, but he also opens the to-go
takeout box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and sees the ear
He
with the
sees
many
the ear.
piercings. Yeah.
And then and that's when he's on alert. And
Yeah, and he draws his hand cannon.
And then he sees the clippings on the wall that are
yeah.
talking about the nuclear blast and
my
like the
God.
miners one, kind of like the exposition dump for this
It
part
is.
of
It's
the
a visual
story.
exposition dump.
Yeah. And then we see family disappeared or like town saddened by all these mysterious desert disappearances. He starts to realize something might be
Afoot.
afoot. Something
Yes.
is the foot now.
But with his extra ear now, he can hear the guy who
can.
owns the gas station in the outhouse. So he goes out there.
Not pooping.
Well, we don't
He
know.
might be pooping.
So he goes out there and he goes and opens the outhouse door, and the guy's just sitting there
With a
Yeah.
shotgun.
with the shotgun. And Buffalo Bob is like, hey, put the gun down, put the gun down.
What's his face is like, I shouldn't have helped them, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And he's like, I can't do it anymore. And then
He
blows his head off.
He shoots himself in the
And you see it, man. This is pretty startling, man. Like
Yeah.
I was not expecting him to blow his head off this graphically. I did think he was going to kill himself. I didn't think we'd see the whole thing, but we see the whole
yeah,
thing.
we do.
Yeah,
We see it, and it's gross. Almost immediately after, we hear "Daddy," which is really weird.
Is that what it said?
Yeah,
it
that's
was.
what it said.
Someone was calling him daddy or calling for daddy.
And somebody mentioned that on the Instagram or Facebook post about asking what the scariest moment of the movie was, and I think this is a pretty creepy one because it's just so weird.
Yeah, normally when I hear that, it's very different connotations.
I don't
Yeah.
like it in that connotation.
I don't either.
I don't like that. I don't like that kind of stuff.
I
gosh.
don't. Okay,
So anyway, we do
he
hear-
responds to this by backing up and shooting everywhere, including into a bush. No, he just backs up into the bush.
This
Yeah.
is how you could tell he has no actual training about what he's doing.
No, he shoots the gun wildly 4 times and then trips into a bush.
I don't think it's is that he doesn't have any training. I think that he's never really been challenged in the field that much. So
That's
when
true.
there is
And I do
something
talk to
serious,
police officers who don't shoot their gun ever, like
Right,
outside of training.
I'm
yeah.
gonna tell you, they're gonna go check an alarm. They're gonna fire 7 shots into the dark building.
Yeah, and into the bushes.
And then fall into the bush in the out front.
Yeah. And that's how you survive.
And then get clobbered.
Cop 101, Mikey.
Yeah.
Don't you know, police
Duh.
officer?
That's how they write them up. They're like, yeah, you went to go check a dark building. You just shot a lot at it and then fell outside and it's all on camera. And
It's hilarious. We are
This is a corrective
definitely
action.
watching it at the Christmas party.
So anyway, he backs away from the outhouse, hears Daddy being whispered at him.
Yes.
He shoots 4 times, falls into a bush,
And then,
gets
blindly
jumped, right?
gets into a car.
Oh, that's right.
Like he hasn't seen Urban Legend and knows that you always check the back seat because he gets into the one car that the mutant is sitting in the back seat.
In all fairness, there is only one car.
Well, that's true.
But yeah, and
But
then
he doesn't have the keys.
he does have the keys because he tried to start the car earlier and it wouldn't start. That's why he went out to the outhouse, right? But the guy who's saying Daddy's right behind him and then hits him in the head. No, just starts beating his
Smashes
head
his head
against the
against the
stuff.
windows, yeah.
Then he's all bloody and then he gets dragged down into the mine and we
Yeah.
just don't see him for the next little bit.
And there's some mutants dragging him down and on like a cart or something.
Yeah, it's like a mine shaft thing where you would like put coal or whatever. Yeah, after we see Buffalo Bill Dude get dragged down to the mine shaft, it cuts to them at the camp.
Yeah, Brenda's walking around trying to find Bobby because he's just still laying on the ground.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
she waited quite a long time to go look for him.
She's got shit to do. She's got a baby and stuff.
No, it's the other sister.
The other sister
She
looks for
had to
him.
get a tan.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They find Bobby and they go back and they're in the Airstream. They've already found him. He's got this big cut on his head. His mom's cleaning him up.
Honestly, they're like putting, I don't think they're like stitching it like stitches, but they're like putting medical tape on it. Like
Yeah.
He gets pretty good medical attention for being out in the middle of the desert. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
he
saying.
does. Maybe
They
the
have a
mom's
first
a
aid
nurse.
kit,
Yeah.
So then they hear a noise outside, and so Bobby gets the gun, and he's kind of creeping around looking to see what's going on. And then we find out they've let Beast go because Beast was chained up outside the Airstream. The mutants have let him go.
Oh, you thought the mutants let him go?
No, he broke free.
I thought he
Oh.
broke
Kidding.
free. Yeah.
Beast was like, "Where's Beauty?" And then
Yeah.
he broke free to search for his love.
He's like, how am I going to not,
He says, "How?" Because he's howling.
as a moon?
Maybe you should have been a dick, Beast.
I
Maybe
mean-
it is your fault.
So yeah, Beast is gone. Whether the mutants let him out or he got off himself, I choose to believe he got off himself because he wanted to kill
I
everyone.
always
He,
get off myself.
we know, Mikey. So I choose to believe that he got off the chain himself because he wanted to go avenge Beauty.
But then we hear a noise, and
No,
it's
Bobby
Doug.
freaks out, grabs his gun, and goes outside and notices that Beast has escaped, not let go. And then Doug shows up, and then he pulls the gun on Doug.
Yeah, and Doug's like, "Stop pointing the gun at me!"
Yeah, my teddy bear.
Oh, my God.
Because he's like just covered in the loot that he's stolen from these cars. He's like just come back from Disney World and he's got like
He definitely looks
bags.
like
full
It's
of
not
stuff.
Disney World. No, it's like a state fair.
No, it's
where
Times Square, New York.
He's got like the big car crater hat on.
Yeah,
and,
he's
like,
got the number
a
one
pinwheel.
finger. He's like, he just like cleaned up at ring toss, brought back a bunch
He's got
of
a
gifts for
little
his family.
goldfish thing.
I used all my tickets, guys.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. None of this shit really matters.
It doesn't.
Until Billy Bob,
Yeah,
until
so
Buffalo
everybody
Bill.
goes to sleep. Okay, so everybody goes to sleep. Doug and Lynn are going to sleep in the car. Bobby is afraid, and
Why
Bobby's
would you
saying,
split up?
I know,
That's
because
so
they don't
dumb.
take the threat seriously yet.
But
because they don't understand.
Bobby tells him. Bobby comes clean at that point. He tells Doug, he's like, "Hey, something killed Beauty."
No, I don't think this is when he tells
It
him.
is.
He does.
It is.
He says, "I don't want to tell anybody to freak him out, but
Yeah.
Beauty got gutted."
Yeah. So he says, Beauty got gutted out there. Something killed Beauty. We are not alone out here. And he's like, "Don't worry about it. I'm sure it was just whatever. Let's
Yeah.
go to
And
sleep."
your dad will be back soon.
Yeah, your dad will be back. It's fine.
And let's all go to sleep. And if your dad isn't back by midnight, we'll all somehow magically wake up and then
and then
figure
go
it out.
find him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is dumb, but does introduce a ticking clock, if
It
you will.
does. I will.
But the
Mikey will not.
the only reason Doug and Lynn wanted to be alone is so they can make baby version 2.
Well, that window is sweaty when he goes.
It is.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to point out,
know,
Mikey.
it's
Of
like-
course, you noticed that too. Of course,
was
we did not
Titanic
talk.
sweaty.
Yes, it was. You almost see like a hand and like, yeah. Oh my God, it's so funny that you saw that too. Okay. Anyway, so cut to Bobby in the trailer with Brenda and the baby, and he's looking at his watch, and it's almost midnight, and then you hear.
You hear the dog barking.
Yeah, and
And
it's-
I'm making
It's basically
air
like
quotes.
roof, roof.
It
Yeah.
doesn't sound like
Ow.
Beast.
Yeah, that's a dog howling.
That sounded like a cartoon character finding another cartoon character sexy.
Like the steam comes out of here. Oh, blanket.
So, but that draws Bobby outside.
Yes, yeah.
Who is scared shitless 2 seconds before? Now he's like, time to run into the dark again.
Yeah, he does have a gun on him though, which is not a great
so
idea.
he goes out to the car, and this is when he wakes them up, and he's like, something fucked up is
Oh
going
no,
on.
they were awake. They were clearly
wakes
awake.
them up. He distracts them.
Yeah, because Doug is like, get the fuck out of here, Bobby.
And while
I'm trying to bone your sister.
Get the fuck out. Get the fuck. All right, so then we're cutting to inside the Airstream, and Brenda is asleep, and she's got earbuds in, and we see a really weird hand like stroking her hand.
Yeah, and this is real weird. So like Bobby is like drawn out of the Airstream to go talk to Doug, and then immediately one of the mutants is in the Airstream with Brenda.
Mm-hmm.
What
is
happening?
Mom is still in there asleep.
He's the biggest mutant, but he doesn't make any noise coming inside.
He's very soft-footed.
Well, and she also has earbuds in.
Yeah, and you know how loud those early iPhone earbuds got, guys.
All right, so then we see like something catches on fire.
No, the guy, because Bobby starts to come back in, the guy who looks like the big dude from Goonies
We'll
says,
Goonies.
now, or whatever, and then cut to Billy Goat Bob Thornton on the...
Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, cut to Buffalo
He's about
Bill
100 yards away, and then they light
doing
him
his best Jesus Christ pose over a Joshua tree that's then lit on fire.
It's Burning Man.
It is.
He is the Burning Man in the desert. Yeah.
All right, so the dad is tied to the tree and is burning to death. And so everyone runs to him except for Brenda, who's in the car, who's in the Airstream getting attacked by Goonies.
Yeah, and Doug is like, Brenda wants the baby, and then runs to the fire.
Yeah, okay, so Bobby runs into the Airstream while Brenda's being attacked and gets it's Doug that goes into the Airstream, and he grabs the fire extinguisher from the Airstream while Brenda's getting attacked.
Yeah.
And says nothing. His baby's in there too.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Who doesn't get a baby when like a fire spontaneously erupts?
And there's someone in that Airstream attacking somebody.
But I don't think he saw that.
Yeah, they were behind the curtain.
Yeah, I guess so.
my
I'm not
God.
exactly sure how they didn't.
This
But
scene is
the
problematic.
logistics of the Airstream
I don't like this at
A
all.
little weird. But so he runs out and he tries to fire extinguish this giant tree that the dad is tied to and now burning. It doesn't work. The dad dies. It's sad.
Spoiler alert, it does not work.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but
I was sad because he's like, I could do it.
it is sort of a sad scene. I don't think the acting in this whole thing is great, but this is sort of a sad scene. Like,
It is, yeah.
It is the worst thing that they think they're going to experience that
On
night.
their anniversary, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they didn't quite make it. I think it was the next day.
Yeah, possibly.
This is like juxtaposed with a legit rape that's happening in the Airstream.
Yeah, because a second guy goes into the Airstream.
Yeah.
Because the first guy, I think she like screams. He gets real upset and he just starts trashing the trailer.
It's because the lizard, he hits the guy with the gun because he got the dad's handgun, and because the other guy was going to try to attack her, and he's like, you gotta be man to do that, and then he gets real mad and trashes the trailer, and it's just, I hate this scene.
Yeah, I don't like this scene at all either. Like, there's so much really horrible shit that happens so fast. It's weird.
Awful.
Brenda gets raped, and fortunately, that's almost glossed over a little bit. Like, you
don't see it.
Yeah,
we know it's happening.
It could have been a lot worse.
Because we see a look of enjoyment on his face and him making like the howl.
What you're saying is the O face. You see him finishing.
But
Yeah,
it's
for
like
sure.
a mutant version of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that we don't see more of it. This was edited down from NC-17, so I imagine that there was probably more that got.
I'd imagine there was a lot more of this, and I bet the other stuff that was edited out was when he was nursing on Lynn, which is real weird.
Yep.
Anyway, so Lynn runs back in, sees what's happening with Brenda, tries to help on some level, and then
that stuff's done because Lizard sees her, pulls the gun on the baby.
Yeah.
No, before he eats the bird too. Before all of the attacks started happening, he just bites the head off the bird and starts dripping the blood in his mouth. And so then Lynn walks in and sees that this monster lizard man is holding her baby. And she, to her credit, whacks him in the head with a frying pan.
Even though he's holding her baby. I thought that was like insane and sort of awesome.
It was awesome, yeah.
But the baby's on the ground. The baby, kind of a cool shot because Lizard pulls the gun and points it out at the baby, and the baby's hand kind of reaches up at it, I was like, oh, that must have been a mistake.
Apparently, they had a really hard time filming that because the baby kept playing with the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're pointing the gun at the baby, and then Lizard goes over and starts assaulting Lynn also.
Like nursing on Lynn.
Yeah.
It's real fucked up.
Earlier, she was breastfeeding the...
Well, she looks like a new mom. And to their credit, this movie does not try and like pick someone who's like super skinny to be the mom of the baby.
She does look like
she looks like a new mom. Yeah.
Well, then also there's a baby. So, I mean, they put two and two together.
This is the most disturbing part of the movie for me. And I just want to say, fuck this movie because I don't want to watch that. That was the thing that got me.
Really? Not the rape?
I didn't like any of the
I mean, I didn't
trailer.
like the rape, but yeah, it's a specific
Well, I didn't
trigger.
think you'd enjoy the rape.
Yeah, nursing is hard.
Actually, this whole scene was just...
It was...
And then what bothers me about this film is that I feel like all of the horror, all of the scary stuff is built around this one scene, which is like, this is the horror of the horror movie is these terrible people have come in to hurt the most innocent people of the group and do that before anybody else.
And I imagine that it is, I think the point they were trying to make is this is like the sanctity of the family getting corrupted by these outside forces. And I could see the parallel being this like scenic mining community that the government comes in and corrupts by blowing it up. So I can see the parallel there. I just don't think it's a strong enough connection to justify this. And it's just really upsetting. It's hard. I don't know. It's hard.
No, I think they went for the most disturbing to try to upset the audience. And I don't think there was really a point for it.
It's too far for me. I think I find it a little bit exploitive. I actually had to go downstairs and like get some anxiety oil after it because it just really bothered me. It's not as bad as I was expecting it to be because I read the summary of this when I was doing some research and it just really got in my head about it. So then the mom comes in
who just watched her husband get burned alive.
Yeah, Mama
and
Bear.
then she gets shot right in the chest.
In the stomach.
I guess it is in the stomach,
but it
yeah.
blows her back too.
Well, I mean, that is a pretty big gun.
Yeah, it is.
So it blows her back against the wall. You assume she's dead.
Yeah.
And then Lynn takes a screwdriver. And I don't know, man. I'm not blaming Lynn's death on Lynn, but she chooses to stab the guy in the leg and not a place that would actually kill him.
I don't know. Maybe it's very traumatic to have a mutant mess with
attacking you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that. But anyway, so he then has plenty of time to shoot her in the head and
he
does just that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the family's not noticing any of this.
It is weird. Like, I don't feel like we ever get a clear visual of what the layout of this Airstream is because it seems like there are things that happen that should be feet away from other people that those people don't see. And I think that's part of what frustrates
they're out
me.
by the fire, but like there's gunshots going off and stuff.
Right.
And like they finally notice.
And it's not like the fire is far away from the Airstream. It's right outside the Airstream. So like you would definitely hear any, like if someone got up to get fucking cornflakes out of the pantry, you'd hear it by where the fire is.
It's a little further away than that. It looked about 50 to 100 yards.
And what I imagine is that there's just so much going on. And if this is your family, because the family is just kind of getting ripped apart from all kinds of different angles, I imagine it just would be hard to focus on or see the bigger picture of everything that's going on. Because when you see these really disturbing things, that's what you're focusing on. So that's I think what that's kind of saying. All right. So then Doug comes back into the Airstream and sees that Mama Bear has been shot.
Yeah.
And then turns around and sees that his wife is dead on the floor. And I would think that he would see the wife first. So then he's like cradling her head and she's not quite dead yet because she kind of gasps up.
Which is insane because she was shot in the head. But
Right.
I mean, that sort of stuff has happened. I'm not saying medically that could never happen, but it is just very unexpected.
I think it's for extra sadness. Is what
I
that's
do
the only thing I can imagine.
I do think they peppered extra sadness on this scene a little bit.
Oh, she died already? Make her die again.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't get to see her die.
Yeah.
And then we realized that the baby's gone.
Yes, that they stole the baby.
The little Bobby sees them running off with the baby and fires 4 rounds at them, which could have hit the baby, and no one runs after them.
Yeah, because they're all just sad and upset. Because I think Bobby's still out looking at the dad, and they're trying to get the dad back.
Well, he comes back and sees them running off the baby, and then he's like, pop, 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 pop.
Oh, yeah, wasting bullets.
I don't think Bobby knows that they have the baby, but one of them is limping. Lizard's limping. I would have chased them down and shot them in the fucking face.
Well,
yes.
Beast does, because Beast, I think it's Goggle, which is the one
Beast
I think
already did this.
Did he? Well, this is the one I think that was eating the dog's leg earlier.
Yeah. He got revenge for his beauty.
He did.
Yes.
Yeah, because he jumps on Goggle and like bites his throat.
And that happens either before this scene or after, but Beast hunts down the killer of his girl. It's actually a really fun scene because he takes his goggles off. He's like, what's that? Because like you see like a thing going in the background. He's like, what's going on? Then he puts his goggles back on, and then Beast comes and takes the chunk out of his neck.
From his throat, yeah.
They switched it up. And this is the only time they do that. Beast is the movie.
Yeah.
I would watch a Beast spin-off movie.
Absolutely. I want a shot-for-shot remake, but we only follow Beast.
I want the origin story where Beauty and Beast fall in love. So now Doug is talking to the mom. And
Oh,
it's
wait.
sad.
Hang on.
Hold on.
Beast rips off Goggle's arm that's holding
the
a walkie-talkie
walkie-talkie.
and then brings it back to the... so Beast like literally brings back the walkie-talkie with an arm that he's ripped off Goggle to help them.
Yeah.
Like he's like, hey, I don't know how to use this machine, but you'll need it. I'll meet you at the town and we'll murder
he's like,
together.
I need you to find the town so we can go together
Yeah.
to get our revenge.
That is
Fun
what
facts.
happens. This whole movie does not happen the way it happens without Beast.
Yeah.
He rips a guy's arm off after chewing his throat off and drags the arm back to the trailer and just drops it.
God damn it. Beast is my I want a t-shirt with Beast on it and like a walkie-talkie arm in his mouth. This is all I want.
Beast o'clock.
Anyway, cut back to the trailer.
So Bobby and Doug are arguing.
Right, back at the Airstream.
And then they hear somebody saying goggle, goggle outside. And I thought it was on a radio. You guys said, no, it's outside.
I
but
thought it was their
on the radio.
CB.
Yeah, but it's not. And so Bobby does the only logical thing you can do and just sprays bullets through the door, hoping to get something productive happening. So then they open up and they creepy crawly out and they find the severed arm and it is Goggle. And
Well, it's Goggle's arm.
Goggle's arm,
Yeah.
but they're talking to
It's not
Goggle.
all of Goggle.
I'm sorry. It is a radio.
Yes.
Jim was right the whole time.
Not Cuba Gooding Jr.
No.
It is a severed arm from Goggle with the radio in it.
Show me the frequency.
The best part of the scene is that none of them even question how this arm gets in front of the trailer.
No, none of them
just
do.
all
They're just like,
up.
a walkie-talkie.
Holy shit, an arm.
And then they start picking it up, and they hear Jupiter saying, "You got to kill them all.
It's
You
because
got to kill
Beast
them all."
lended them a hand.
Oh, shit. I love
He
it.
is man's best friend.
Yeah. Murder
And so
friend.
he hears that Jupiter's going to finish them all off, and then they hear a baby crying on the radio.
Yeah.
And this is when
Doug is like, I
how
want my
many
baby back,
bullets
baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
Mutants took my baby.
Exactly.
So they hear the baby crying, and then Doug asks, "How many bullets you got in that gun?" Woohoo!
A clip and a half.
Yeah. And so then they start hatching their evil plan.
Yeah, their evil plan?
I
Sorry.
don't know.
Go
I
ahead.
like to say evil plan. All right. So then we see Doug going off, and he's got Beast and his bat with him. And he's probably got a gun too. No, he doesn't have a gun.
He doesn't have a gun.
Because he doesn't like guns, he doesn't know how to use them, which is smart for him, you know?
Yeah.
And so he finds part of the mine and he goes down and he sees like the mine graveyard. And Beast is kind of leading him and like following the trail because Beast is the real hero of this movie.
Beast is the only hero of this movie.
And then we see Ruby is in there. Or he sees Ruby crawling around on the rocks, or we see him. I'm not exactly sure.
I don't
but
think they see Ruby,
I
but
don't think so
Ruby
either.
is in the scene.
Ruby
yeah.
is just always kind of in the shadows. And then they see the town, and he's like, "Oh, hooray, I'm rescued now."
And it's very much Nuketown. Like it's the
Oh, yeah.
town that they nuked
The
for
test
these
building.
tests. And if you've seen Modern Warfare, it's one of the multiplayer maps called Nuketown.
And if you're not a
nerd, yeah.
video game guy.
Or if you're too busy playing RuneScape, or too busy having sex.
wow.
For the record, while I was a Twitch streamer, I was having a lot of sex.
So was your
but my girlfriend
girlfriend.
was having a lot
Even
more sex.
sex.
Yeah.
Then Brenda is lighting a tire on fire.
Yes. But, well, so Brenda's lighting the tire on fire because she wants to create a lot of smoke and tires burn forever and create a lot of black
Which
smoke.
I learned for the first time today. So
Yeah.
thank you, Todd.
And fun
Todd,
fact
fun
from me.
facts.
Yeah. And then Bobby is setting a fishing line trap or perimeter, I'll say. It's not really a trap.
Yeah.
But it is a perimeter to let them know when the baddies come back.
Not a tumbleweed-proof perimeter. As
It is
we will
not
find out
tumbleweed-proof,
later,
yeah.
but- yeah. So they're setting traps. Bobby and Brenda start kind of arguing, but then they're hugging, and they're just really upset because they've just watched both their parents die.
And sister.
It's been a bad night.
So then Doug gets to the town, and we see that it's the weird mannequin Fallout town, and it's pretty creepy. And so he looks in a window, and he sees Catherine, who's the baby, on the bed, and he's about to kind of creepy crawl in to get her. But then he sees a mutant with like a neck brace. So he sees neck brace mutant dragging the feet of a
That's the neck
corpse.
brace my grandmother wore when we watched Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
When she turned to you and he said, this is terrible.
Yes, that's why she had to turn her whole body because that was that neck brace.
So then he goes into the house with the bat. Oh no, he hides from the mutant in some car with mattress springs all around it. He goes into the house with the bat and he sees her character name is actually called Big Mama. And it's this bald woman just brushing a wig. And
she's watching Divorce Court, guys. She's watching what everyone else watches. She's a normal person.
Well, all these people know English and stuff. And they know how to do walkie-talkies.
Bro, they're in Arizona. These people voted for John McCain for Senate. It's 2006. That checks out, right? They are about to vote for him for president, too.
So he picks up the baby. The baby is strangely quiet and sneaks past, and he's almost out of the house, but then Big Mama smashes him with an axe.
Okay,
and this is the second time that we think he's dead. Maybe it's
yeah, so like he gets hit in the head with what sounds like an axe. You don't truthfully get a good look at it. And I looked at Jen at this point. I was like, oh, so he's dead? He's just dead?
It was a blunt object.
Yeah, but I mean, it has to have been like a bat or something. It could not have been an axe. But the sound effect they use, like this is not good Foley. Mikey, they should have hired you for Foley work because this sounds like an axe. It should have been a thud, less of a stabbing sound. And then he wakes up.
Laughter.
The baby never cries.
No.
I know.
Best baby in the world. Maybe the baby's dead the whole time. So then he wakes up in this is a very dark reading of this
really
movie.
Is.
The baby died a week ago.
Well, Beast is here.
So he wakes up in what is sort of like a freezer, but it's not
giant
frozen.
Tupperware container.
It is, giant Tupperware container is better. Full of body parts.
It would be a freezer, but it had a see-through plastic cover.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's got a lock on it.
It does.
But
Says
it's not
Wednesday.
a very effective lock because he almost immediately breaks out of it by just pounding on it with his arm.
Give it 30 good punches and you're out of there, guys.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
He
Story of
panic
my life,
punched
man.
out. So he panic punches out of the Tupperware full of body parts.
No, not like that. I just meant like a bad situation. 30 punches.
We
to get
know
out.
what you meant.
It's
Yeah,
not
like-
sexual. That wasn't sexual.
Mikey to get out of a commitment is like that hallway scene from the movie Raid. He's like punching commitment in the face down a hallway no matter how hard it comes after him. Anyway, so he gets out of the Tupperware container full of body parts. And then what happens after that?
Now he's got the bat again.
Yeah, because they put the bat on top of the Tupperware.
And he goes and he sees like there's mannequins all over this house, but now he also sees the dead Buffalo Bill's burned body.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got an American flag stabbed through
It's
the top
from
of
the
his
antenna.
head.
It's from
That's
their
right.
car.
Were they trying to go for some sort of meaning about all this?
Probably, but it was lost on me, man.
Because now someone is singing the national anthem, and
I think it's supposed to be ominous and creepy, and
I think so too.
it is. It's
And it just
ominous and
bugged
creepy.
me. So then we see this man in the chair, and he's got like hydrocephalitis, and his head.
What?
That's true. That's a true thing.
Yeah, that's when your head's.
Oh, I didn't realize that you were a doctor.
Well, I do. I didn't go to 8 years.
But his
of
head is
medical
more than
school.
just swollen. It's like elongated, so he
Yeah.
looks like the alien.
Yeah, it does
From
look a little bit like
the
Alien.
Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
No, from
Yeah.
the movie The Alien.
So we see a man he's wearing like underwear, and he's in this.
He's wearing Lucy's. Yeah.
He's wearing
pardon
Lucy's.
me.
White
Yeah.
Lucy's.
His corset has already been removed.
The alien's retired now in a walking chair wearing Whitey Lucy's.
That's what it is.
So he's in this wheelchair, and he's got hydrocephalitis, and his head is really elongated, and it looks like it's too heavy for him.
Can
to
I
pick
ask what
up.
hydrocephalitis is for those people who are not medical
the
doctors out
swelling
there?
of the brain where they have to drill a hole in the brain to reduce the swelling.
Oh, all right, cool.
It's like lots of fluid filling your brain. I'll
Okay.
link what it
So
actually
also,
is.
this guy seems to be the brains of the operation.
Well, he's got the biggest head. So
And he
he
has-
does the commands on the radio.
Yeah, and he's got the most exposition to dump because that's what he does.
yeah, he does. He's also probably the only one of the mutants that can carry on a conversation. So
Yes, yeah.
he gets that honor. But
And he immediately is saying, "You did this to us. You made us what we've become." And he launches into this story when this man's just kind of batting around his house trying to hunt down some mutant guys.
I think he's just trying to find his baby, really. I don't think he's on the
That's
hunt.
true.
Yeah.
But he's like, "I don't want to listen to your damn story. I need my baby." you know?
I want my baby back.
Yeah.
and
It's a
he's-
weird part of the movie where the guy like takes 5 minutes to talk about like the bombs and the mine and your people. I've been like, what are you talking about? What do you mean, you my people?
And
you
so
like,
here's
What do you mean, you people?
Exactly.
Exactly. This scene is somewhat effective because he starts to laugh. And then, is it Doug? Doug's like, what are you laughing at? He goes, it's breakfast time.
Yeah, that creeps
And then
me out.
the dude from Goonies, then Goonies runs in.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he runs in like the fucking the Kool-Aid man and like busts the door down. I don't think that he uses a door for the rest of his life.
I don't think so
Did you
No,
notice that?
he busts through like 9 doors in this house, or walls, or whatever.
And not even the wall you think he's going to bust through.
It's never the wall you think it's going to bust through.
That's the magic of Kool-Aid Man.
But yeah, so he busts
man.
through the wall like Kool-Aid man with an axe and starts fighting
Yeah,
Doug.
but then Beast to the rescue, and Beast jumps on him, allowing Doug just enough time to hide in a bathroom and then trap Beast out there forever by putting a gigantic...
Doug is not an ally to the Beast.
No, he's not.
So Beast goes into beast mode and is fighting the guy with the axe. It's a long, drawn-out fight. You don't see it because it cuts to Doug pushing an old tub in front of the door and being scared.
Yeah. You know what's more interesting to watch? Beast rip Goonies fucking arm away. Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's a better horror movie Homeward Bound in this.
There is.
Michael J. Fox is the voice of Beast. We're doing it.
Oh. So this is when Goonies Kool-Aid Man's through the wall on the other side. He picks
Again,
up Doug
this is
by
the
his
second
throat.
time in 30 seconds he's run through a wall. And yes, you're right, Jen. He does grab Dougie Doug by the 30 throat.
And then throws him against the throw. He throws him against the wall.
Oh, no, he throws it like there's a big indoor plate glass window. He throws him through as well.
Yeah, and then I heard
Well, there's a plate glass window because Goonies can't use doors. So he's knocked down shitloads of walls and they just had to replace it with whatever they have laying around.
And so then they're like pickaxe and bat fighting. And this is really cool because
I like this too.
Cuts the bat in half with his pickaxe. And then Doug takes the bat and stabs him in the chest.
Because it makes like a big toothpick, if you will. Yeah.
Okay,
mean a
and
spear?
It's gonna be good.
I guess spear's probably a better.
But then, what did you say, toothpick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am
There's
ashamed.
a little of size discrepancy.
Guys out there,
Todd's a deadly weapon.
what is a spear if not a big toothpick?
Also, we hear Beast get injured and we don't know if he's alive or dead. And so that's where my mind's at for the rest of the film.
Because Doug doesn't care.
Yeah.
All right. But then Goonies rips this bat out and power move smacks Doug in the head with him and then punches him through the wall. And now they're in a saloon like in the Old West.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he's
no,
hiding under the table.
Yeah, he cuts two of his fingers off. I gagged a little bit at this point.
Yeah, you did. So he pickaxes his finger off, and then Doug goes and hides under the table, and Goonies is just pickaxing all over the place.
And this scene, the guy who plays Goonies is doing work. Like, he swings his axe. I mean, it almost looks like the director was just like, go nuts in this room.
Yeah.
Because he hits the chair gets stuck to the axe, and he's just like breaking the chair over the axe. It's insane.
Yeah.
And then he pickaxes to the table, and you think he's going to get Dougie Doug.
Well, Doug, because Doug has he holds up the
Screwdriver.
Oh my God.
and he starts crying. He's like, please don't kill me.
Yeah, and he's kind of given up. And so now
And Goonies molests his head with the axe.
He's just savoring the kill.
It's the scene from The Patriot where Mel Gibson is almost going to be beheaded. It's a reenactment of the scene.
I didn't like American Braveheart as much as I liked the original.
Braveheart, yeah.
So then he
true.
goes to like axe him and he goes, just kidding, I'm not sad. And then stabs him in the foot
He
for some
stabs his
reason.
foot. Yeah, he
Stabs him through the foot, and then he grabs the American flag out of the dad's head because Goonies is now trapped to the floor because he's got a screwdriver through his toe, and he American flag stabs him through the throat.
Because who would want to just stab him in the head with the screwdriver? You want to stab him in the foot, keep him there, get an American flag, then run back, and then put that in his head.
It's much more symbolic.
That's how you make a point, man.
Although I do think because Dougie was on the groundy ground, he couldn't reach his heady head, so he had to stab his footy toe.
Yeah, I think so too.
You would obviously go for the nuts.
Well said, Todd.
You can call me Todd.
Toddy, oh, pardon me. Pardon. No,
Yeah, you would go for the nuts.
you go through the throat.
But think about how much fun it would be.
If you're like on the ground.
Think about how much fun it would be to stab mutant
I mean,
nuts.
I can't fight that logic, you know.
He's probably like 7. He pulled out that screwdriver. Looks like a shish kebab.
Full of testicles, Jen.
Because he's a mutant. He has more than
Gross.
2.
Jen.
Jen.
At this point, Goonies is dead.
Yeah, Goonies is all
And
fucked
you
up.
think that Dougie Doug is going to turn on Brainy Brain, but he doesn't.
He doesn't.
He just walks out, and this is when you hear Beast is still alive and goes full on beast mode on Brain.
Oh,
But not before Brain says, kill the baby. Kill the baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Beast goes, what the fuck did you say? And then fucks him up.
All right.
And it's this point, there's some sort of, we're supposed to be like believing that Doug is transformed as some sort of Rambo mutant killer.
Yep. But he does see Neck Brace Mutant outside, and he pickaxes that guy right in the eye, and he doesn't even hesitate.
Right.
Yeah.
No, he
cue
jumps him.
badass
Yeah.
music.
And he has more blood on him than like Rambo does in First Blood. Like he is
Yeah.
head to toe covered in blood.
All right, so now we see that Ruby has got the baby, and Evil or Lizard is
Well, because
coming-
Lizard was going to go kill the baby,
Yeah, with a
and
big
Ruby
cleaver.
switched the baby out with a pig.
But we also
Piglet,
see
excuse me.
Piglet, yes. But we also see Doug trying to go to the crib to get the baby, and we find out that Ruby has switched that baby with a doll too.
Yes.
So Ruby's got it all figured out.
She's a baby thief, man.
I
think
or
she's
is she a baby rescuer?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think she has malicious intent.
I don't think so either. I think she's good. So
Obviously,
Ruby,
she looks the least mutiny.
all right, so now we start to see back at the Airstream, Brenda and Bobby
Oh, yeah.
have been bamboozled by a tumbleweed who set
Yes.
off their tripwire.
Or did it?
Or did
Because
it?
there is somebody afoot.
There
right?
is. The murder is the foot. And so somebody has taken the mom's dead body out of the car. Mama Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but just to eat.
He does take the body up, and then was it Bobby?
Well, no, they split up because like
split up.
So Brenda and Bobby run back to the truck or the SUV or whatever, and they're like, "Where's mom? Where's mom?" And then they decide to split up to look for her.
Yeah. And
Bobby
I think that
finds
Brenda
her.
just didn't want to go because she's terrified.
That's possible, but Brenda's also setting up the trap in the Airstream.
That's true.
So it's like she was. We don't hear this.
No, he goes, go into the stream and set it up.
Yeah.
He throws a line away like that.
Oh, my God.
So he goes after whoever took the mom's body with the gun
Yeah.
that has plenty of bullets.
It's got like 9 bullets.
This scene is so infuriating because
Yes.
they've created some sort of mousetrap-esque trap with the trailer. So he goes up the canyon, you hear, which is this dude.
Who may or may not be Rob Zombie.
He does kind of look like Rob Zombie.
He does. So this guy who looks a lot like Rob Zombie comes out from behind the rock.
So instead of shooting him, because we have established that he knows how to shoot a gun.
Yeah, and he walks up on this dude, literally eating his mother from the inside out, just like
Yes.
eating stuff
Not
from
in
her
the
stomach.
gross way. Even the even grosser, disturbing, terrible way.
Right. The logical thing to do would be to just aim and kill this
And
person.
shoot. But what he does is he is probably in a lot of shock and is
Sure,
very
that would be a
traumatized.
shocking thing to come across, seeing
Yeah.
someone eat
He
your
knew
mother.
that's what was happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this guy stops eating his mom and starts running at him. And instead of like taking aim and shooting him, he just shoots wildly
No,
a
he
few
run- he
times
sprints
While
and
running
starts to
away.
run
He
away.
says,
Yeah.
And I was like, he's like, don't worry, this is part of the plan.
And it is part of the plan, which is real dumb. Like he should have just killed him.
Because Rob Zombie almost pickaxes him with a throw.
Also, he shoots him in the arm.
Oh, yeah.
He does hit him.
Yeah.
So-
He could have just
I
turned around
forgot.
and finished him
So
off.
then
Yeah.
they go hide in the Airstream. Rob Zombie, not Rob Zombie, well, we're going to get sued. Not Rob Zombie punches through the Airstream,
Guys, it's Rob Zombie. It's definitely Rob Zombie.
not
100%. Yeah.
punches into the Airstream, grabs Brenda, which I imagine is even more traumatic because it's very similar to what just happened to her. And so they like trap his arms and have like tied him to
Through the clever use
trailer.
of bungee cords.
Right. And so then they run out of the Airstream, setting
They don't run
off-
out of it because
They don't
okay.
run out of it because the
So-
matches
Oh,
are
that's
set
right. They win
on
a
the
punch
front
out
door.
of it.
So by the time they're both trapped in the Airstream with this guy on the outside, there is gas leaking from those propane tanks and matches by the front door. If he, instead of going to the side window to grab her, went in the front door, they'd all be dead. Like so much has to go right in this plan for them not to die. It's insane.
Yeah.
So, listeners, just to sum it up, their big plan was, sis, you go in there, turn on the propane tanks, fill it with gas, get the matches ready on the front door. I'm gonna go shoot at him a bunch till I run out of bullets, and then run back inside the propane tanks.
Yeah, and we'll just cross our fingers and hope this whole mousetrap thing
Yeah.
works out.
And in that 30-minute conversation and trap setting, not one of them went, "Oh wait, couldn't you just shoot him with a gun?"
right.
Yeah.
Don't you already know how to use a gun and you have them right in your hand that's
Yeah,
loaded?
wasn't that already like set up in the script?
With
Yeah.
clear shots?
Yeah, okay.
Anyways, but I mean, explosions are kind of cool. So he opens the door and it sets off the explosion.
They go out the other window.
Yeah, they go out
They
the
do.
window, so they get to a safe distance.
So if he had just seen them running out the other way, he would have just not run to the front door of the Airstream, and then like Doug probably will wander back with a baby and blow the whole thing up. Yeah, not a
Right.
good plan. You've got a gun in your hand. Use your head, guys.
After the Airstream blows up, we cut back to Dougie Doug at the top of the hill, chasing down Ruby and Lizard. Like this whole thing is coming together, right?
And he finds the man that's been inside him this whole time.
yeah.
And then Ruby tries to hand the baby off to Doug.
Yes, but
And then
Lizard.
she gets speared by Lizard.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh my gosh, she landed on the baby.
Yeah, she does.
The baby's fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%. It's been dead for weeks. Anyway, so Lizard and Dougie are fighting, like legit
Yeah.
fighting. I'm pretty sure Lizard gets shot at one point.
Yeah, Doug beats the shit out of him with the
Oh,
rifle
yeah,
once
because-
he's been empowered.
Yeah, because he I thought this was insane because he hits Lizard like 3 times in the
Twice.
face.
Once in the shoulder and once in like the stomach with the shotgun.
And then shoots him. Like the only reason to use a shotgun as a bat is if the shotgun doesn't have shells. Like you can't shoot
Right.
it.
It's also crazy because he beats him, then shoots him twice with a shotgun close range, and then Lizard still wins this fight.
Well, technically, yeah, because you think Lizard's dead. Doug drops the shotgun
And takes the baby.
and takes the baby, right? And then you see Lizard stand up with the shotgun in his hand because Doug's a fucking idiot
Yeah.
and dropped it next to
So
an
he slow
undead
motion
lizard.
style goes
Yeah.
to shoot Doug and the baby.
But Ruby says, not today.
She goes,
And
"Ruby."
runs her off the cliff or runs at him and they fall off the cliff together.
Yes.
And then cut to,
Back at the trailer.
right, back to the Airstream.
We see burned up Rob Zombie who's impaled on the ground. And then Brenda starts screaming and just axes him in the head out
Well,
of
because
nowhere.
Rob Zombie's not dead.
Right,
And
yeah.
the only good Rob Zombie is a dead Rob Zombie.
Ooh.
I actually
Strong
like
words.
Rob Zombie. Although I haven't seen any of his horror movies, so I don't know if he's a good director, but dude, I loved
Okay.
his music.
I think
So then Brenda axes him to death. And this is the only thing in the entire fucking movie that a woman does to empower herself. And it's bullshit. And I've got some thoughts about this for later.
Huh. I think you're right.
Yeah,
I
except
wanted,
for Ruby. Ruby,
I wanted Brenda to kill Lizard. Like I
Yeah,
really
I did too. And so then they see Doug and the baby.
walk
and-
up and then Doug's like, why the fuck did you blow the trailer up? Didn't you have a
yeah.
gun?
Hey,
Yeah,
you
where's
know,
all our food?
Yeah, you know what we need? Food, shelter, and water. Do you have any of that? No,
And
you blew it up. Well, fuck us then. So I guess we're dead.
Yeah, and so then they all die. And that's the end of the movie.
Well, they don't all die
They
because it
don't.
cuts to
More goggles!
more goggles.
And that's the movie.
And that is the movie? Question mark?
I mean, there is a sequel.
Yeah. Well, let's talk final thoughts. Having talked about the movie, I still didn't love it.
Yeah.
It honestly, it feels a lot like My Bloody Valentine, and it's of that era. I just don't think it's
Yeah.
great. It's not executed very well. It was scary in points, but we'll talk about that when we get to scary scale.
Yeah, there are parts of this movie that I really dislike strongly, but I don't hate everything about it. There are things
Yeah.
about it. I think there are a lot of things about it that are well done, and I think it effectively builds tension. I just don't really like it that much.
I think it was too exploitive.
Yeah.
Exploitative.
I think there are
Exploitative.
scenes.
Yeah.
And
Are.
also the whole plot revolves around the dog chewing the arm off of a person and dragging it to a trailer.
I don't think it revolves around that, but that is featured in it. Yes.
Well, the rest of the movie wouldn't have happened.
No, I do think that there's an awesome movie that we're not
Yeah.
allowed to watch within this movie.
About
Yeah.
the dogs, yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think, like, when we were talking about Brain and his exposition dump, I feel like there is a point that they're trying to make, too, about the corruption of innocence and, like, government creating monsters. But I don't think they made that point very
No, and they
effectively
would have
at
got
all.
reimbursed for their property anyway if the government was going to test it on nuclear stuff. And they were not in a successful mining town. Maybe use that opportunity to, like, I don't know.
Yeah, like, I think the seeds of that better movie are there. I just don't think they because I think they went too heavy into the gore, and I think they kind of lost sight of the point of the movie. And I also think that the narrative this movie seems to be kind of going for is like city man finds his manliness and defends whatever, and I'm just not really a fan of that. I would rather the women who are actually the ones who are getting hurt and attacked and assaulted be the ones to find that empowerment and get revenge for themselves. I don't really consider this a revenge movie.
No, I don't consider it a revenge movie because they went for the baby. I don't think they were going for revenge.
Right. I think if they had the baby, they would have just tried to run.
And I think they were
that would be the smart thing to
Right.
do. Yeah.
These women take all of the burden of the destruction of this family, and the men, nothing really bad happens to the men, but they get all of the
The dad
glory.
dies, but the
dad
other
dies,
two, the other two are fine.
But the men get all the glory, and that frustrates me because they're, other than getting his finger cut off and getting like beat, nothing really happens to him, you know? And the son, nothing really happens to him either, except for seeing everything terrible happening to the women in his family.
yeah, there's going to be some therapy for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And
Right.
I'm not saying that's nothing. I'm just saying the women are taking all of the burden.
Well,
and just
considering
getting
the
destroyed.
best woman at the end of this movie, or the woman who's best off, was still raped. Yeah, I think the women have it the
Exactly.
worst.
Well,
Yeah,
and then also, I feel like this movie tried to do two things. Like, you want the revenge plot of my wife got murdered, I want to hunt down her killers. But they didn't do that. They did my baby got kidnapped. You could have had just as an effective movie if they just kidnapped the baby.
Or if Brenda went out and killed everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Or
I
they
would
worked-
rather see that.
That
they
would've been
work
cool.
together. There's other interesting things that I think could have been done.
Let's talk box office. So what do you think the budget of this movie is, guys?
$20 million.
Yeah, that's what
You think $20 million?
I was going to guess 15.
Oh, shit. Jen.
Did I win?
Guess.
Do, 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 do.
$15 million. Come on down.
Oh, I lost.
Woo!
$1.
How
One
much?
time I actually make a guess.
How much do you guys think it made?
This made 157 million domestic.
87 million.
Holy shit.
Is that
Did you
right?
look it up?
No.
It is exactly not that.
Oh.
It made 40 It made 41 million domestic, 27 foreign. So it made 69 Winky Blinky million dollars. Which is
Winky Blinky dollars.
yeah, which is a lot of money on a $15 million budget.
I guess, but they had like, I don't know.
I mean, they made money.
I can't believe they made a sequel.
They did
Well,
make
they
a
made
sequel.
money, so that's why they made a sequel.
Yeah, I think it made a lot of money for the kind of movie it is. Like it's.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
Do you want to do some fun facts, Jen?
Yeah.
Jen's fun facts.
Now with
more
More
fun.
fun. This was actually filmed in Morocco, but it's supposed to be set in New Mexico.
But it's
And-
really set in Africa
How did you know?
because I know geography a little bit. I'm not great.
Yeah,
What's
'cause
the
Morocco-
capital of Morocco?
Morocco City.
Ooh, Kathmandu. I don't know.
I was like, really? Okay, sorry.
It might be.
So it was filmed in Morocco.
It
Go
was
on.
filmed in Morocco, but it was supposed to be set in New Mexico. And there was actually only one nuclear test that was conducted in New Mexico called the Trinity test. And it was the first one on July 16th. Oh, so we're coming up on the anniversary of 1945. And it was part of the Manhattan Project. But
Right.
most of the other tests were either in Nevada or what's the island? The Marshall Islands.
Yeah. Do you have any Oppenheimer facts?
No.
He was the guy who built the bomb, more or less.
The Manhattan Project.
He was,
guy?
I mean, there were a lot of people who did, but I think he was like one of the head guys.
Yeah.
He's the one who said, I have become death, the destroyer of worlds. After seeing it the first time, he was like, oh, well, I've just fucking destroyed the
That's a
earth.
good quote, though, in the moment.
Yeah, he wrote that line like 3 weeks before it happened. And then he like was like, oh my God, I can finally say it.
He's like, everybody's going to hate me because I just blew the whole world up. So at least I can get this one badass quote.
It's like when
in.
Neil Armstrong stepped out on the moon, he was like, he had rehearsed that line just so he didn't get out there and he's like, I'm a small man with a big thing for mankind. Oh shit. No. Sorry.
Hold on.
One small, yeah.
Of course, I would have been out there and I've been like, there's aliens. They're everywhere.
Well, you could get away with it too, because there was only that one camera on the bottom of the thing, just running. Like it's just Mikey running by, so
the
you can't
Foley
see it.
artist.
Oh my God. Don't come to the moon. Just kidding, guys. It's pretty cool out here.
Okay, so they based the special effects off of real images from Chernobyl and Hiroshima. So the opening credits where we see the images of all the deformed babies, those are actually pictures from the Agent Orange effects that happened in the Vietnam War.
So that's actually Vietnam, not radiation. That's something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oof.
But you didn't know, did you?
Yeah.
Because it looks the same. So Big Mama, who's the bald lady. that's
Tell me more about Big Mama.
That's her character's name. They paid her $1,000 to shave her head for this movie. That's the only way she would do it. She's only got like 5 minutes of screen time too.
Yeah,
so
she's only in it for a very short amount of
she made her
time.
money, and that hair grows back. You know, I mean, I guess unless you
I'd shave my head for
got radiation
$1,000.
poisoning.
Really? Would you?
Yeah, probably.
I
not.
would do. Yeah.
Fundraiser.
So this was being filmed in Morocco, we said, at the same time as the 10 Commandments miniseries was being filmed. So all the actors were staying at the same hotel.
Awesome.
Which I thought was interesting. Okay,
Who are you? I'm Billy Bob. Who are you? I'm Jesus.
So this was actually based on a different true story, which is the possible true story of Sonny Bean. Have you guys heard of him?
No, of course not.
He was the leader of a cannibalistic faction of insurgents from like the 1600s. Yeah.
I think you're thinking of Braveheart.
I think,
No.
I think this is a pretty loose interpretation.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, well,
Unless is the character Beast based on him?
Wes Craven has said that he was inspired by this story to write this movie. Listen to the story and then maybe make a decision about what you think of it.
I think we've angered Mama.
Yeah, man.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Big Mama.
So, Sonny Bean is the leader of a cannibalistic faction of insurgents. He ended up in the company of Agnes Douglas, who is accused of witchcraft. And she apparently led him into cannibalism, but I don't think it was her fault. I think it was his fault. They had a bunch of children who
Little projection there.
were probably the result of incest, and they just became this clan of people that lived in caves and would like trap travelers and like eat them. And so finally, King James ordered them to King James the Sixth ordered them
After the King James Bible. He's the same one who did the Bible.
Oh, is he really? Yeah. So he's a cool guy, I guess.
Yeah, he's all right.
He ordered them. He had sent people to go find him and pull him out and executed and tortured them all.
Okay.
It may just be anti-Scottish
propaganda.
Yeah, it's estimated that if he is real, and I mean, it was like the 1600s. Is that the time of King James? Yeah. I mean, it's possible that happened, and there's really no way to know if it's true or not because it's so long ago. But it's estimated that they killed about 1,000 people.
Okay.
And my last fun fact, which I think kind of sums up how we all feel, is the tagline on this is "The lucky ones die first."
Taglines don't mean shit in movies. Like there aren't good taglines.
There's some good taglines.
Name 6.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
That's one.
Something about going back into the water again. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water again. For God's sake, get out. That's 3. Those are extra good, so they count twice. So that's 6. I can think of some more.
You don't get to just make up rules. When I
Yes,
arbitrarily
I do.
make up a number for you to hit, you can't arbitrarily make up rules, Jen.
Patriarchy. Well, that's all my fun facts.
Nice. Well, thank you for your fun facts, Jen.
I liked your fun fact.
Now let's do Scary Scale.
Scary scale. Hey, listeners, our scary scale is how we rank how scared we were when we watched this movie today. It's not a ranking of the quality of the film. It's a ranking of how scared we were tonight when we watched it. Our 1 example is Ghostbusters. Our 10 example is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Todd, what are you giving The Hills Have Eyes?
3?
3?
Yeah. There were some jump scary moments, but it's really not super scary. It's more like, Jen, I would not be surprised if you give it a higher number just because of the subject matter of the horror. And I do think body horror affects you more than it affects me. Definitely. So I definitely understand if you would rate it higher, but the jump scares are not super scary.
Yeah. Okay, so 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not surprising considering we just watched it together. Yeah.
I'll give it a 2.
Yeah. Was it scarier when you first saw it in the theater?
No.
Okay.
I am going to give this a lot higher than that. I think I'm going to give it a 6.
Yeah, that's fine.
Partly like there are specific things in this movie that like trigger me that were really upsetting.
I think
that's perfectly
if we had
understandable.
like a disgusted scale, it would go higher.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't scared. I was just like, I just don't like this.
And see, that's what tends to scare me more. And it's not necessarily I'm afraid of like a jump scare. It's I'm afraid of what I'm going to have to watch, And so there's a lot of that in this movie for me. There's gross stuff. There's really brutal and disturbing and upsetting things that happen. And that's what tends to get me. So I'm going to give it a 6. So this is our June listener request. I'm really grateful for everybody who supports us and who suggested things. This was not our favorite movie, but I love that you guys pick things that we wouldn't pick for ourselves because it does challenge us and it makes us think about things and talk about things. And I tend to have my niche of movies that I choose, and you guys choose some different stuff. And I appreciate that.
So the listeners made me watch The Hills Have Eyes
And we
this
love you,
week.
listeners.
Yeah. So what are you guys making me watch next week?
I'm so excited because this
Can
is
you
one
hide
of my. I can't hide it.
No!
Yes, I know. I'm about to lose control.
And I think I like
I
it.
know.
Mikey does not like musical jokes.
Sad that he can't sing them. So I'm so excited because next week we get to watch one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. We are watching
A League of Their Own.
I do love A League of Their Own.
Yeah, that does not surprise you.
Oh, it's
but
so
Jen,
good.
there's no crying in baseball.
I know. It's that little
What is
3
it,
feet
Jen?
above my ass. Dun-dun, dun-dun,
Oh, man.
dun-dun, dun-dun. We're
Attack of the
watching-
Killer Tomatoes?
It is Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. We're
Sorry,
watching
sorry.
again. No. Guys, we're watching Jaws
Jen,
next week.
really?
Jaws is also on my top 10 all-time favorite films
We
list.
agree on something.
I know, I'm so excited.
Dreams do come true.
Also, it's a pretty brilliant movie, so I'm excited
It
about
is. It's amazing. I'm really excited.
I know a lot of people who think Jaws is an amazing movie.
It
And I
is
have
amazing.
never
You're
seen
looking
it, so
at
I
two
just
of
don't
them,
know.
right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
you're probably right. I don't know.
It's really good. I'm really excited. It's our 4th of July episode. You
Oh,
know.
that's perfectly timed. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if we planned it that way.
I wouldn't know. I don't plan the movies.
We did plan. Because it takes place on 4th of July weekend.
We got to kill a shark on the 4th of July.
leave the beaches open. See?
So, guys, make sure you watch the original Jaws for
Yep.
next week.
And I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix. But if you can't find it, check out our Facebook group because Emmy, who's awesome, has been hosting watch-alongs or
Yes.
watch parties.
I really want to go to one. I work a lot of
too.
Sundays, so I can't.
I've done a few. They're pretty great.
Thank you. So we've talked a lot about Patreons and how Patreons kind of chose this movie for us. If you're not able to do that right now, we completely understand, and we still love your support, and we're really grateful for it. And one of the best ways you can support us is just leaving a review for us. And we know that you guys don't all use iTunes for your podcasts. So if you leave us a review on another site or another app, just take a screenshot of it and email it to us because we can't see it.
Oh, is this what happened with this one?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's Tanya, I think.
Penania.
But she emailed us a screenshot of the review she left, and I'm actually not sure where she left it.
They said, I love this podcast.
Aw.
It entertains me and keeps me sane at work.
Aw.
Props to you guys, especially Todd.
Ooh.
You're freaking hilarious.
What?
Thank you guys for being amazing.
Nailed it.
Hilarious podcast, 5 stars.
I love it.
Thank you so much. And
me
thank
see
you
this
for
ring.
taking time out to send that to us, too.
So if you want us to read your review, leave us a 5-star review on Apple, iTunes, or wherever you listen to
Wherever you can
podcasts.
leave reviews. But if it's not iTunes, make sure to screenshot it and email it to us
Yes.
at info@horrorvirgin.com.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, and if you want to email me at jimferratu@gmail.com and just talk some Stephen King shit, I'd love to talk about that. This is Tanaya408. Thank you.
And guys, if you want to reach out to us on social, it's at Horror Virgin. Jen is at Jen Ferratu. Mikey is at M Randolph24. And I am at Todd J. Awesome on the social. If you want to go to our website, it's horrorvirgin.com. You can get the blog from there. Of course, links to the merch store, all from there.
And the merch goes on sale a lot.
I think it's on sale right now.
I think it is,
Although
too.
it probably isn't by the time this comes out. But
Or it might be on sale.
yeah,
by
it's
time
the
it
weirdest
comes out.
thing. Guys, we talked about the Facebook group. We talked about the watch parties. But please join our Facebook group. Even if you hate Facebook,
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Here's what you do. I created a new account. I'm in like 3 groups and I'm not friends with anyone. So if you friend requested me and I didn't accept, it's because I'm not accepting any of your friends.
she's not friends with anyone.
Then all I see, the only thing that shows up on my feed is stuff from the group.
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
great.
awesome stuff that people are posting. Yeah, we're having so much fun in the Facebook
Yeah,
group.
it is. It's awesome. So guys,
gonna-
join.
Pretty cool.
Yes. So join, have some fun with us. Also, we're a member of the Modern Horrors Podcast Network, so check them out in their feed. In that feed, you can also get, obviously, us, but also Final Girls and Death, Dying, and other things.
And occasionally a Modern Horrors episode.
They've been coming back at it, yeah. And last week we had Jacob on our podcast, so they're pulling sort of double duty. But they've been trying to get God Country out and filmed and edited and all that shit, so they've been busy with other stuff.
Guys, that's going to be it from us. Listeners, thank you so much one more time for participating in our listener request
Yes,
for
thank you
June.
very much.
Already cooking ideas for July, so if you want to get in on that, check out our Patreon page. And we've got another really fun, exciting idea that we're kind of cooking on right now. So yeah, that's going to be it from us, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic week. Thanks for joining us for the Hills of Eyes. I'm Jen.
I'm Mikey.
And I'm your Horror Virgin Todd, guys.
Have a good week.
Bye!
The Hills of Eyes.
With a sound of murder.
Cannibalism.
With babies they have stolen for 1,000 years. I don't know the rest of the song.
Musical nerds.
I am mutant going on murdering and I'm stealing a baby. I will eat your mom. There we
Is it
go.
like dough?
And out.
I hate you all so much.
You can just stop recording. You have
Nerds!
all the power.